my name is Matt Bohannon, and I am a person in long-term recovery from substance use disorder. Currently work in the substance use treatment field, helping other individuals get sober and seek treatment that they deserve.
Let's go. I'm on a journey to discover the truth. Living life in recovery is lovely. You got the power in you. Surround yourself with positive energy. Judges hitting people with provocative penalties. Need to make a change. Advocate to change the laws. Prove to people that it's not insane. When you stand behind a cause, I'm here to speak about the pain. Recover loud to normalize the disease that's been killing all my friends and my family. The time is now to let it all go and recover loud. The benefit is healthy people, family and friends that never have to overdose ever again, never have to plead out to a lesser offense. I'm proud to say that I recover loud. I never thought I could, but I'm so proud that I discovered how to live my life again, controlling my own destiny. I needed recovery, I still need it desperately. Addiction never defined my identity. I recovered loud, here to tell my own story. I recover proud, save a life of like 40. I recovered loud, yeah, I recovered loud. I recovered loud, yeah, I recovered loud.
Hi, welcome to this episode of Recover Loud. I'm your host, Mike Paddleford, and I recover loud. This week I'm sitting down with my guest, Matt Bohannon, from Manchester, New Hampshire.
Yes.
Matt, welcome to the show. You've got some great experience, both in your own personal recovery, and now you're working in the field. Can you tell us a little bit about what it was like for you growing up? What kind of childhood did you have?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm from Attleboro, Massachusetts. I grew up with a loving mom and dad, normal household. I have an older brother who's about 9 years older than me. So there was some tension there because we're at two totally different spans in our life, and our parents provided us the best life they could for us possible. But we shared a small bedroom, growing up, so we're always on top of each other. And I'm always trying to get attention from others because I feel like I don't belong, right? I remember from a really young age, I would never get my way, and to show that, I would show aggression, right? That's how it kind of all started. I have scars right here. I punched my arm through a glass plate window. I'm pretty sure because my mom told me that I couldn't have something to eat that I wanted, causing destruction anywhere, and that was at a really young age. And I really struggled with feeling less than my whole life, from probably 10 years old is where I really started to feel that way, and then all the way up to the 20, 21, 22.
And who was it that you felt you were less than?
You mean who was it in my life that made me feel that way?
Yeah, it was
really.
Who were you comparing yourself to?
I think I was comparing myself to the other kids within schools, right?
Okay.
Like, they had nicer clothes than I did, right? Like, my parents could maybe only shop at Walmart, which is nothing wrong. I shop at Walmart today. I love Walmart. You know what I mean?
Right. Now we see the value of it.
Now we see the value, right? But it was like, oh, those clothes are from Walmart or Kmart back then, right? Mm-hmm. And I was always comparing myself to the other kids within my neighborhood or within the school. I was bullied a lot growing up. I was overweight as a kid, and it really just put a strain on me trying to connect with other people. My whole life.
So, did you live, in Massachusetts your entire childhood? Did you move around a lot?
I've always lived in Massachusetts. I went, I spent some time growing up in Norton, Mass, and then moved to Attleboro, and then eventually, pretty much high school, I lived in North Attleboro, Massachusetts.
And I grew up in Massachusetts as well, just outside of Worcester.
Nice.
But I had a similar upbringing. I had aunts and uncles that lived at the lake. We lived in an apartment. I felt less than, most of the people around. And I even went so far as to tell people I was adopted into the family I was in because I didn't feel like I wanted to be seen better than they were. Yeah. You know what I mean? And I struggled with that, quite a bit, because I didn't want to be that kid whose clothes got bought at Kmart.
Yeah.
And I had to get husky jeans and have them hemmed, because I was a short kid. And all of that embarrassment, I fought that, and so that's. I still struggle with that today sometimes.
And I do too.
Even as regardless of where I am as an adult today, it's a tough thing to get over. Is that kind of why you started using substances?
Yeah, I would say when probably got into early high school, right? You know, my friends that I had at the time, right, would, you know, want to go steal the liquor from the parents' cabinet, right? Or go smoke some weed down the street, right? And I started there, like, dabbling into it, because I'll do whatever you want me to do for you to like me, right?
Right.
Like, I'm a people pleaser at heart. Even I struggle with that still today, right? I always give, just so you'll like me, right? It's like,
Right.
can I buy your happiness? Or can I buy your love, right? And you know, I regret that today when you look back on it, but that's exactly what happened. Is I do have some, you know, friends from high school that I still speak to today, you know, that are now in recovery or not in recovery.
Yeah.
But that's exactly what it was. I was doing it to fit in, but because I have an addictive personality, once I'm starting that, I can't stop. You know, no matter what it is, right? It can be the alcohol, the marijuana. It can be anything, really. You know, there's so many addictions. Shopping, you just see my shoes. You know, all the shoes I own.
Yeah, and I mean, anything can become the addiction.
Anything.
You know, we happen to go down the path of using substances, but you know, like you said, there can be gambling, there can be, you know, sex.
Yeah.
You know, there's all kinds of ways that we try to fill that gap.
Because it's filling a void.
Yeah.
That's what it is, right?
Yeah.
It's like this big hole I have in my heart, and it's like, what can I stuff in that hole to feel better?
Yeah.
And that's what I did, essentially. You know what I mean? I took it and ran with it. And then when I was like 18, someone's like, "Oh, do you want to try this Perk 5? Just bite it in half, you know, crunch, crunch." That's what we called it back then, crunch, crunch, right? And the minute I did that Perk 5, I was screwed.
Yeah.
I was screwed. You know what I mean? It was, I have arrived. You know what I mean? This is my aha moment, right?
Yeah.
And then it progressed. It wasn't Perk
Yeah.
5s, it was OC80s, right?
Yeah.
It was just, it kept progressing, you know, and that's where I hurt a lot of people in my life during that time.
And you know, it's a good point you made there. You know, when we started doing these, drugs didn't seem so bad.
No, not
Yeah.
like it is today.
No. You know, it was, wow. You know, this is awesome. You know, I feel, you know, I can talk to this group of people.
Exactly.
I can relax. I can, you know, I can jump off this bridge.
I can clean my whole apartment today. I can clean my house,
Even
right?
that stuff, yeah.
Yeah,
You know, the normal stuff becomes,
Yeah.
you know. So.
Do better at work, do better at school, you know.
Yeah. Eventually, it's like.
Eventually, no. It's like you can't do any of that stuff anymore.
Right.
No.
Right. And you know, in one of the seminars today, they were talking. You know, in the beginning, we start using to feel better, to do better, and then in the end, we have to quit so that we can feel better and we can do better.
Exactly.
You know, because in the beginning, I know for me, it started with an addiction to opiates that were prescribed, and when I got them, I could do more.
Yeah.
You know, I could play baseball with the kids. I could, you know, run around. I could do all that stuff, and then towards the end, I couldn't do anything without. And even when I did them,
Yeah.
you know, it wasn't getting me to that point anymore.
We're always chasing that first high.
Yeah.
We're always chasing it.
So how long did you end up using for? Do you think?
I would say, you know, real heavily, it would be from, you know, 2009, you know, when I consider heavy use, all the way through 2019, it's almost 10 years.
Mm-hmm. So it started with a perk.
Started with a perk and ended with a meth pipe and boofing Suboxone, to be honest.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I hate to admit that, but it's the truth.
Yeah, and you know that's I appreciate you sharing that because people have done things all kinds of ways, and you know when they find out that you know they can identify with somebody else, you know, we all have individual experiences that other people can experience from,
Exactly.
you know, benefit from. I mean, what
the
leads
progression,
what
right?
leads you to
it's
that?
the crazy shit. It's like hearing from someone else that I'm getting high with, like a getting high buddy. Oh, have you tried it like that? It hits you 10 times faster, right?
Yeah.
And it's in my mind. It's like, how can I do it cheaper and faster, right?
Right.
How am I going to achieve my high cheaper and faster? And how am I going to get there quickly, right?
Yeah.
And who am I going to piss off along the way, right? It's like when you're in that addiction, no matter what it is, it's like nothing else matters, right? So
Right.
all you care about is me, and the
Right.
drug.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's when you start to experiment different ways. Like there was a guy at the conference that I talked to about harm reduction, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you know, they're trying to, you know, teach people that there's better ways to use your substances than using needles, right?
Yeah.
And there's different materials that you can use, you know, and it's all about back then, you know, 2009, you know, 2015, there wasn't all of these materials you hear about, right? It's like, I would put anything in my body, you know,
Yeah.
no matter what the consequences could
Yeah.
be, you know? So it's really just, addiction today is 10 times worse
Yeah.
than it ever has been, I think, you know, and
Yeah, because the substances themselves have I mean, they're hitting us different. They're
Correct.
grabbing us different.
Correct. Yep.
These programs that were created back in the 40s and 50s to help with addiction, they work great.
Yeah.
But when it comes to the substances today, sometimes something extra. Harm reduction is a great way to keep people alive.
Correct.
It doesn't have to lead anywhere, but to tomorrow.
Yeah.
People are dying on the streets from infection, disease, all of these other things. The overdose is only one way that we're losing. People who use drugs. So if we can help them, to do things safer today, then that obviously there's a benefit to that. One thing I like to say is, there's 0% chance of recovery after a fatal overdose.
Yeah.
And that really drills a point home. We have to keep people alive.
For a long time, there was so much stigma, even in my personal life, about harm reduction and like medicated assisted treatment. And it's a way for someone to possibly gain insight into the recovery process. You know what I mean? Just because you were using 10 grams of heroin yesterday, now you're down to 3 grams.
Yeah.
That's like let's go, dude. Like,
Exactly.
Let's go.
Great fucking job.
Yeah, great job. And some
Yeah.
people are like, oh, well, they're still using. They're not in recovery. Maybe they're not in recovery, right? But they're on their way. And we could talk all day about and they're in the recovery, are they not in recovery?
Right.
But
And-
it's a start in the right direction.
Well, and see, my definition of recovery is recovery is the process of change that leads to a better tomorrow.
Yep. I
Period.
love that.
So there's pre-contemplation, there's contemplation.
Yep.
So before you're even considering quitting that substance, you can be there.
Yeah.
When you recognize that you don't like doing this anymore.
Yeah.
You start thinking, what can I do better?
Exactly.
And then you start, getting clean supplies,
Yep.
refusing to use the puddle water.
Yeah.
These little things that can guarantee that your safety, a little bit more, so that you have a chance of living today.
Yeah.
Wanting to live today.
Yeah.
That's all part of recovery.
Yeah. That's what it's about.
And quitting the substance itself is that's a great goal
Yeah.
of
absolutely.
recovery. But it doesn't have to be the end result.
No.
Not
at all.
So while you were using, how bad did it get for you?
It got, pretty bad. I would say right away in between 2009 and 2011, the first 2 years of the opioid use, I was stealing from my friends, family, lying about ways to get money. It was terrible. That's the standard addict behavior, manipulation and lying. But I really struggled after my partner died. He overdosed from opiates, and I felt like, this is going to be it. I'm going to get better now. He died. I can't continue to get high. That's selfish. But what did I do? I got high right away.
It's the only.
I was at his funeral high.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I mean, that's what you knew.
That's all I know, right?
Yeah.
And it, my family tried to intervene. My brother and his husband, they paid for a private treatment center for me to go to in upstate New York. I left that treatment center.
Mm-hmm.
I was homeless, in New York. I had to find my way back here. I was talking to you before, I'm motivated, so if I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it, right? I'm determined.
Yeah.
And it didn't really start to change per se, until I made the decision to go to treatment.
Yeah.
And that's when I went to Florida, and my heart was set on getting better,
Yeah, and you mentioned how many treatment programs?
About 7.
And how many did you graduate from?
7.
Yeah.
Which is crazy, you know what I mean?
Well,
7 completed treatments,
So what was it that was bringing you back out after completing the program?
I've done a lot of work on myself, through different various ways, therapy and etc. And it's really about not having any coping mechanisms to deal with life, right? When shit hits the fan, what am I gonna do?
But didn't you learn those in those programs you graduated from?
I went to those programs to have a place to rest my head, right? I didn't want to be homeless, right? That's the truth. I went to treatment. Yes, part of me wanted to change. In my heart, I did. But at the end of the day, I didn't want to be homeless.
Yeah.
The places in Florida had great food to eat, you know what I mean? And I know how to do treatment.
Yeah.
Show up, I'm compliant, I'm respectful. But at the end of the day, I wasn't paying attention to any of those groups,
Right.
I wasn't really trying to change and motivate myself, treatment centers offer different types of modalities of treatment, right? Some are 12 steps, some are, coping mechanisms and skills, right? But it was really about taking what I knew up here and putting it in my heart.
Yeah.
That's when the change came. Like, I can say, hi, my name's Matt, and I'm an alcoholic or an addict, right? And I can say that all day long, but I never believed it.
Right.
And that's when the change came. Is when I started to believe treatment is just treatment. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, like, treatment is great, and I'm 100% supporter of someone going to treatment, but you also have to have some motivation for change.
Absolutely.
You have to. Stuff.
We'll be right back. Stick around for more of this interview with Matt.
I would say, like,
Did you have a false sense of security?
yeah, I would say it would be a false sense of security. That makes sense.
Yeah.
So, like, I never really thought about it that way, but so, like, they say, like, some people will say, like, recovery is not a race, it's a marathon, right?
Right.
And I'm all about, like, checklists and, deadlines, right? So, like, in the beginning, they'd be like, did you pray and meditate today? Check, I did that. I'm
Right.
doing it,
Is your
just
bed
checks
made?
out. Is your bed made, right?
Yeah.
Yes, it's made. Is my bed made right now? Who knows, you know what I mean? That's not part, like, that's, it is what it is.
And honestly, if I wasn't filming this interview in my hotel room right now, I don't know if my bed would be.
Yeah,
But I don't think my recovery is in danger today.
correct.
But back then, that was a big deal.
And I do believe in, when we're out there ripping and running, we lack, we're either homeless, most times we're homeless, right? We're couch surfing, right? And I think for the first, like, good couple months, routine is good, making your bed, taking a shower, but you are right. Like, I think the times when the treatment didn't work, it's like, I completed treatment, woohoo, let's party, let's celebrate.
Right.
Like, I can drink today because I just completed 30 days of treatment.
Yeah.
I'm good.
Yeah.
And that's what happens a lot. Like, the people I know, like, they'll go to treatment for 30 days and then they'll come out and do one shot thinking they're good, and then they're dead.
Yeah, and see, when I went to detox and, got started on Suboxone, and then went into a rehab program, and after a week or so, I wasn't thinking about drugs anymore, So I thought, why the hell am I going to be here for 6 to 9 months?
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
exactly, yeah.
I was like, I'm on my meds, I'm not thinking about getting high, why am I here? And it was really about, learning about myself, learning how not to use, learning how to cope with other people and, rely on something other than a substance that, to run and hide from the daily struggles. But it was, I had that clarity, with the medication-assisted treatment that I could work on that kind of stuff, and without that I didn't have it. So with you, when you finally went into rehab this last time, what do you think it took this last time for it to be working for you today?
So when I reached out for help this last time, it wasn't at a bad place where I was before, right? But I knew I was getting there. And, I have some really close friends that I met when I lived in Maine that really pushed me to seek treatment and to really kind of see myself, But to be honest, and not to be, like, weird, like, I would be at work at my, my job, and I'd be in the bathroom, like, for hours, right? Just, like, by myself,
Right.
trying to do, like, inappropriate things with drugs, right?
Yeah.
Just to get the most effect, right? Because it wasn't working anymore.
Yeah.
And I knew that I was going to die. Like, I had this
Yeah.
burning, it was like a burning feeling in my heart, like in my chest. Like, every day I woke up and I felt scared and alone, and I knew that, like, death was, like, the next option, right?
So how long do you think you were feeling that way before you finally did something about it?
I would say for a good 6 months.
Yeah.
For a good 6
Yeah,
months,
'cause-
I was just like, I was basically like a zombie in my own body, just walking around, doing the motions.
You
of life.
want it to end,
Yeah.
and you don't want to do it yourself, but you just hope something happens.
Exactly, and that's
so
kind of where it
you
was, like, like they talk about, like, suicidal ideation, it was like,
Yeah.
I didn't have the balls to do anything,
Right.
but I was so depressed and sad on the inside that, like, I was hoping something bad would happen to me.
Yeah, and my 40th birthday was a changing moment for me. I woke up that morning, my house was a trap house, my daughter was living there, we were, depriving her of, necessities, food, that kind of stuff, and, I hated my life, and of course that morning, at 40 years old, I was broke as fuck. I couldn't even afford the next fix, and I cried, I laid in bed and I cried because I never imagined my life was going to turn to that. And to feel better, eventually, finally, I got something to feel better.
Yeah.
And, off again. I didn't feel so bad about myself.
Yeah, you didn't feel so bad because you had something to feel better.
Right.
Exactly. All of a sudden we're Superman.
Yeah.
We're like, oh, we're good now.
Yeah. So.
I always want to change when I'm feeling. Yeah, it's weird. It's like either when I'm like really high, I want to get sober, or I'm really dope, so I want to get sober. It's like weird on both ends of it,
And honestly, that's one of the reasons I really enjoy the work. My Facebook group, Recovery on the Road. It's a virtual recovery community center where anyone can reach out at any time.
That's awesome.
They can be sitting at the trap house, have that idea in their head, and they can connect. And it's no pressure. They can join the group. Nobody's jumping on them saying, you need a sponsor, you need a recovery coach. They can just be part of a group, and they can get that, build that hope up, and then they can reach out when they're ready.
The opposite of addiction's connection, right?
Absolutely.
And that's why it kept me sick for so long, is not
Yeah.
connecting with others and running from everybody that wanted to connect with me.
Yeah.
For so long.
And that's still hard even in recovery today.
Even
we
like
can,
events like this, have to talk to
yeah.
everybody all day. I'm just like, I'm nervous.
Yeah, and
This is awkward.
Hundreds of people from around several states. Maine has a very tight knit recovery community. We get together and have statewide events, and but when I come out of Maine and I'm meeting all of these other people, but it's important for me to talk to everybody because your experience here in New Hampshire is totally different than ours in Maine.
Yeah.
So you work in recovery here in New Hampshire?
Yeah, that is correct.
What is it you do?
I'm a community outreach coordinator for Live Free Recovery Services. So we are a treatment provider for substance use disorder, and offer gender-specific treatment for men and women suffering from alcoholism or drug addiction.
Yeah. And your peer support?
Yep, I'm a certified recovery support worker in the state of New Hampshire. Basically a certified recovery coach, through the state. And it was really cool when that happened, because I've never been to college prior to when I'm in college now, but I've never accomplished anything. I have a GED, right? So when I took this recovery coach course and became the CRSW, I was like, wow, I can actually, I'm like smart. I'm driven.
Right.
Like, this is cool. Like, I can do something with my life, And that was all because of this last time getting sober, right? Like, the decision that I made, like, I surrendered 100%, right? And I now have so many blessings in my life today because of that, right? And I get to help others, And that's the part of it. If you can't come to treatment where I work, that's cool. I'll find somewhere for you to go to treatment.
Right, of course.
'Cause if we're not a good fit for you, I'll find the place that is a good fit for you.
And that's important, and I appreciate that you work that way because a lot of times we are employed by specific agencies.
Correct.
But we know not every agency is going to be that perfect fit.
Yeah.
And everybody does something different.
Yeah.
So if they need that one specific thing, it's worth it to send them there and give them that chance.
Yeah, because why am I going to, burden them just to fill a bed at my facility,
Exactly.
right? Where it's going to burden the staff. They're probably either going to leave early,
Right, they're not gonna
or
appreciate
they're
it.
going to have a reoccurrence after completing treatment because they didn't get that specific niche of treatment that they deserve.
Yeah, exactly. And if that's what they want, then that's what they should try.
Yeah.
And having that option is really the best chance of somebody getting to a better tomorrow and being satisfied. This morning in one of the seminars, they were talking about get to that 5-year mark, and you're a little bit safer. But that's when
I've heard that before too, like when you get your marbles back or whatever they call it, and I believe that allowing someone, empowering them with the power of choice, right?
Yeah.
And letting them choose their destiny for recovery is what's going to actually work. We talked about this when we had a phone call the other day, right? It's about being a recovery coach or a CRSW is about the power of choice for the participant or client, right? And if they make that choice, whatever that might be, MAT, sober living, rehab, detox, right? Or no treatment at all,
Right.
they're gonna feel empowered and they're gonna take responsibility when shit does hit the fan.
Absolutely.
Because it was their choice. You
Yeah.
can't be forced into anything.
Yeah.
People that are forced don't change.
Yeah, and when things don't work out, we can always say, you know, this is what you did last time.
Yeah.
What else are you willing to try?
Exactly.
And if you just want to try that again, you know,
So be
try
it.
it again.
Yeah, try it
you
again.
know,
As many times as it takes. It took me
absolutely.
7 times. I completed treatment 7 times
Yeah.
to find recovery, you know?
Yeah, yeah, and you know, recovery's a journey, and you know, whatever that journey looks like, however long that journey takes,
Yeah.
you know, we're just gonna keep traveling.
Yeah,
you
that's
know?
all we can do. Absolutely.
Yeah. So Matt, I appreciate you sharing your story.
Yeah, thank you.
Keep up the great work. You know, we need many people out there sharing their experience, and you know, bringing other people, you know, on this journey with us.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely. Thank you. I
thank you,
appreciate
man.
it. Yeah,
Yeah.
thank you.
all right. Recover loud, everyone.
Let's go. I'm on a journey to discover the truth. Living life in recovery is lovely. You got the power in you. Surround yourself with positive energy. Judges hitting people with provocative penalties. Need to make a change. Advocate to change the laws. Prove to people that it's not insane. When you stand behind a cause, I'm here to speak about the pain. Recover loud to normalize the disease that's been killing all my friends and my family. The time is now to let it all go and recover loud. The benefit is healthy people, family and friends that never have to overdose ever again, never have to plead out to a lesser offense. I'm proud to say that I recover loud. I never thought I could, but I'm so proud that I discovered how to live my life again, controlling my own destiny. I needed recovery, I still need it desperately. Addiction never defined my identity.